Viewer note: this story is purely fictional and intended for entertainment purposes only. However, some content may be disturbing to certain audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Chapter 20: Healthcare and Medicine. On a street corner in the capital of Dragonia Country, a line had formed outside a small, unassuming booth marked Free Medication Distribution Point. People stood in an orderly, quiet queue. Each held an identity code, waiting their turn to receive a box simple in packaging, but vitally important inside. Among them was old Zhang. He held a white medication box, fingers absently rubbing the raised letters printed on its side. Supreme Council, Human Life and Health Protection Department. He frowned, glancing sideways at his elderly neighbor. Really? No charge? He asked, voice still hushed with disbelief. What about those anti-cancer pills, the ones that used to cost thousands per box? His tone was still thick with astonishment. Old-timer, his neighbor Auntie Wang, barked back with a grin, snatching the conversation. She waved her own identical medication box. Haven't you been listening to the broadcasts? The old pharma companies? All shut down. Now they're all under the Supreme Council. You just show your ID code. That's it. Walk in, get treated. She patted her chest proudly and added, my husband's diabetic. Last time he got some shot, some kind of nanobot thing. Guess what? Now he's strong enough to carry a gas tank up 5 flights of stairs by himself. Old Zhang's jaw dropped. His mouth opened, but no words came out. Not far from the booth, a once flashy building that used to proudly display a giant billboard for XX Biopharma now bore a new, modest sign, Life Protection Department, R&D Center Number 7. Inside the building, on the top floor, a meeting room was in heated debate. The data doesn't lie. A young data analyst slammed a holographic screen toward the gray-haired man in the tailored suit across from him. The display exploded with scrolling statistics, row after row of traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, formula efficacy data. Each entry clearly labeled disease type, success rate, patient follow-up results. Beside it, a few sparse columns of Western clinical trial data looked pale and lonely by comparison. 370 million valid case records, the analyst said, voice firm, covering 147 chronic illnesses. He looked directly at the man across from him, Professor Li, a Nobel Prize-winning authority in Western medicine. Professor Li, how does your double-blind trial sample size even compare? A fraction of this? Professor Li's face darkened. He adjusted his glasses, voice sharp. Nonsense. Without molecular-level mechanistic analysis, all you have is a pile of anecdotal experience. Mechanism? From the far end of the long table, the venerable Qin Lao, a grandmaster of traditional Chinese medicine in Dragonia Country, slowly sipped his tea, not even looking up. You've been cutting open bodies to find meridians for 200 years, he said calmly. Found them yet? He set the cup down, tapped a finger on the table, and pulled up another holographic flowchart. The gene-targeted drugs your department is so proud of, he continued. Over the past 3 years, they've caused 110,000 reported cases of liver and kidney toxicity. Our so-called experience piles, he gestured lightly, 0. In the same patient groups. The room fell silent. Only the holograms continued to glow silently, telling the story of real-world data and real-world choices. Down on the 3rd floor, inside a core lab, it was a different kind of buzz. At the center of a massive circular console floated a clear 3D projection of a human organ, the pancreas. One section glowed red, marking damaged beta cells. Target locked, said a technician, tapping the screen intently. Pancreatic beta, cell damage zone, initiating nano-injection protocol. In the projection, countless tiny glowing dots surged into the red area like stars diving straight toward their target. Now that's way cooler than the old insulin pens, a young man in a lab coat said, eyes wide with wonder. His female colleague elbowed him lightly, half joking. Serious face. The best part of this cleaner system, she said, it knows who's the bad guy. At the last simulation, it dodged healthy cells and went straight for the cancer, just like a precision, guided missile. She finished proudly. She pointed to a nearby culture tank, where a tiny, slowly beating artificial heart pulsed gently. "See that?" she said. "Grown from the patient's own rib cartilage cells, way quieter than a metal pump, and no batteries needed." The technician chuckled. "And digestion?" he added. "Remember when people took so many antibiotics they wiped out all the good gut bacteria? Now?" He grinned. "Just pop an eco-capsule. Rebuild your gut flora in 3 days. Faster than moving house." A few weeks later, a new AI diagnostic system, blending ancient pulse pattern diagnosis with quantum computing analysis, quietly went live. In a neighborhood clinic, Auntie Wang stared at the screen as it displayed her diagnosis. Qi and blood deficiency. Warm the spleen and kidney. Beneath it, a long string of molecular formulas and drug codes she couldn't begin to understand. She turned to the clinic's general practitioner, Dr. Deng Li, raising an eyebrow. "Doctor, does this really work?" she asked, skeptical. "Doctor," Deng smiled, tapping her digital prescription pill. "The formula's been reviewed by Professor Chin's team. Those key bioactive peptides? Brand new synthetics just approved by the protection department. Immune modulation specialists." She looked up, tone warm and confident. "Used to be, you'd choke down bitter herbal soup for 3 months. Now?" She tapped the screen. "1 shot, 10 capsules, and you'll be back on the square next week, fighting for dancing space." Auntie Wang's eyes lit up. "No way," she laughed. "It's that good?" Yet, beneath this wave of hope and innovation, a sudden encrypted alert flashed on the central monitor inside the Life Protection Department's core command center. Source: Dragonia Country's Southwestern Genetic Database. On the main screen, bold red characters flickered silently. "Anomalous genetic editing detected. Non-registered sequence. Trace failed." In the monitoring room, every smile froze. The air was sucked out of the room.